Welcome back to PH.d TV, and today I'm going to be talking about why I haven't really posted anything in about 2 weeks. And something I'm talking about today is actually probably something I'm not going to talk about that much, even though I don't have an issue talking about it. I just understand it's not necessarily the go-to discussion for a lot of people, which is fine. I would say the majority, so you never know. I may actually end up talking more about this kind of thing in the future. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you'd like me to do. But what it is that I felt led to write a book, in which I've kind of discussed that I do like to write books. I like to write novels. And I mentioned before in my I'm Back video, which I'll link up here somewhere if I can remember, I said I had written a book back in January called Shadow of Extortion, which is this spy thriller that has a lot of things very similar to the spy genre. It involves the good drinks, the good food, the good clothing, as well as the espionage parts that we all love, like the action, the women, the intrigue. I was led to do something recently that I don't know why I was, but it felt right. So I actually wrote a faith-based book. So with that being said, if a faith-based substance novel is not your thing, no worries, this video may not be for you, and that's okay because you're you. But for those who are curious, I wrote a novel that kind of went back and forth, being a blend of, I'm not going to say a memoir, but a blend of stories and how that I had felt led me faithfully or Christianly, biblically in my life and what I got out of them in those moments. And I think the main reason why I felt the need to write something like this was because, in a nutshell, when I got a lot on my mind, when I got a lot of things that kind of hold me down, you know, in a way of how a lot of people are nowadays, they don't have an outlet to let their frustration out. Sometimes it's people going to the gym. Sometimes it's people being creative. And for me, I'm the creative type, but I was more of, I'm gonna write these things down just to get them out of my head, and I can usually move on. And I'm close to my pastor, and we'll call him Pastor Sam. Me and Pastor Sam are relatively close, and we'll chit chat, and sometimes if I write something, if I write a 1.5-page long thought process of this is what I'm going through, and this is how I correlate it to my faith, or how I correlate it Christianly. That's not a word, but bear with me. But I give it to him and I just kind of say, hey, what do you think? And we texted back and forth one day just saying, hey, what about this? What about that? What do you think? And we kind of joked around saying that if I keep all these, I might as well just write a book about it one day, or with them involved. And needless to say, I ended up writing a book. One, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is around 304 pages long. And with the 304-page long novel, it goes back and forth, and I'll put a link up here, or I'll put a link in the description, but I'll put a picture up here of what it looks like. And I called it Silver Linings, Reflections, and Devotions for a reason. Is that the chapters go back and forth between reflections of my life, reflections of stories that I correlate to, this is what I learned from it, this is the life lesson that I gathered from it, to a devotional for those who are reading every other chapter. So that way it's not always homework every time you read the book, or it's not always a devotional. Sometimes it's just a story. And I tried to write it in a way that is very, what's a good way to put it? A good blend between the younger Christians, like myself, sub 30 years old, but also something where the older, more traditional group of people would probably enjoy as well. Because I do like to have people read, I like to have people of all ages read my things. If I don't write for a niche category, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't write for one specific type of person. Now I may write a specific genre, but when I write the genre, I want it to be as mass appealing as possible. And even then, as a quick fun fact, there's a really good chapter, in my opinion, of how I came back to YouTube. So if you even missed that story, it even explains how I came back to YouTube the way that I did. So with that being said, not much of a real video here. There's no review, there's no ranking, there's no list. It's just, this is what I've been up to. If you're interested, again, I'll link it down below. Doesn't cost a whole bunch. You'd be supporting me. And anything at this point that I do that I mention here is going to pretty much support the channel. So again, the link is down below. I'm going to post to the other video that I mentioned of why I came back if you want to check that out. I didn't have the mic yet, so the audio is not as good, so bear with it. But subscribe down below. Please like the video. It does help the algorithm with you finding me and other people finding me, and I'm trying to grow so I can not necessarily get a message along, but this is a passion of mine. This is my hobby that could one day be what I do primarily, but until then, it's a hobby, but anything helps. Again, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. As always, this has been PH.d TV, and I'll see you next time.